Hello, this is Matt Bergman, and you are listening to the Punk Rock Libertarians podcast, episode 24. I'm here today with Alexis von Schlegel and Patrick Rose.
Hi.
That's anticlimactic.
Yeah.
Just Patrick Rose.
Is this 24? I thought it was 25.
This is 24, bro.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure at least.
That's cool, man.
Time will tell.
All right, we'll see.
So, guys, how was your weekend?
Not bad. Let's see. Did a little Ubering. Last night. Went to an O's game. Tried to yesterday, but it was kind of rain delay, so I just drank beers with a friend for a couple hours. And that was about it. Fam came down, hung out today. Nothing too crazy. How about you, Pat?
Yeah, just normal stuff, man. Took care of stuff around the house. Got to hang out with my nephew for a little bit. That was cool. But when I woke up this morning, I saw on Facebook that the Senator is going to be playing Return of the Living Dead 2 days before Halloween. So I'm fucking super psyched about that.
The Senator is like this old theater in Baltimore. And like, how old is it? Do you think?
Very old.
Yeah, it's very old. It's
like Art Deco inside, wasn't that like the 50s?
Probably before that. Probably like
before
30s.
I can't say that I've been there since I was a
20s,
kid.
30s.
Okay.
Like, it's been a long time.
Yeah, you're right, man. You're right. I didn't think about
For me, that's definitely tempting to catch that. That's a pretty badass, like just epic. It's a landmark zombie film, if you ask me.
Yeah, definitely, I agree.
Definitely, yeah. I'd say in the top 3 most important of the 80s, at least.
What would the other two be? Day of the Dead and what?
For the 80s?
That was 84, 85.
Well, yeah, then I don't know, man. If I had to name only 3, then the third one would have to be Reanimator.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's a good list?
Yeah. Good. Great list.
Totally. So, yeah, man, I'm like totally fucking psyched about that, man. I love the sequel also, the second one. I like, and also I dig the third one. The last couple, though, they were like
Rave to the Grave and stuff like that. Yeah,
those sucked ass. They were major disappointments.
Yeah. I really like the first two. I mean, in the first one, you can't compare to anything else. It's kind of like Evil Dead in a way. Like, there is no other movie like that movie. No one, most people never even tried, and the few who did just failed miserably. It's really cool. It's really original.
I thought it was funny because like the second one's pretty much the same as the first, but I feel like they tried to make it a little more kid friendly by making a kid like the main character.
Well, they really parodied a lot of things from the first one also, which some in humor for the people who had seen it. I dug it.
Yeah, totally. It was. It was still, to me, it was still fun. And just talking about this makes me want to watch it because I haven't seen the second one in a while, and I think I have seen the first one in the past year.
Yeah.
But probably want to watch that one again. Now the third one, I remember like the first time I rented it out from Blockbuster.
Yeah. And
on VHS way back in the day.
Yeah.
I was kind of disappointed because I had such like high hopes from the first two.
Yeah.
And to tell you what, it's basically like when I was getting into these movies, it was in like the mid '90s. You actually couldn't find the first Return of the Living Dead at Blockbuster.
It was out of print for a long time.
Yeah, it was really hard to find. I think the first time I found it was at like a horror convention on like bootleg VHS or something.
Yeah, I saw it in we had like a hometown video place for a while that eventually was like Vince's hometown video, which eventually went out of business when the Blockbusters all started moving in. But they just had like the best horror selection and a really good classic porn section as well. So,
dude, I've always had this idea of like, especially like since the Blockbusters went out of business, to open up like a mom and pop video store. Because I feel like if you had a cool enough store, people from all over would go there.
I feel like if you put it in the right neighborhood, yeah.
Well, the right neighborhood, but it's like for instance, if you knew of like a really cool store like 30 minutes away, would you go there just to be able to like, would you go to a video store? Because I missed a video store. Do you miss a video store at all?
Yeah, I do a lot.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the experience of going to the video store. And a lot of times, Netflix is a total crapshoot. I can't tell you how many times I've like put on 4 movies in a row and they all suck balls and I'm like, fuck it, rage quit television,
Well, I think that's like Hollywood because I think, because they want to sell DVDs. That's where they make their money. Yeah. So I think basically they kind of strong arm Netflix and are like, all right, in order to get like one good
digital though.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, I guess
I still buy DVDs.
I do too.
Yeah.
I haven't even switched over to Blu-ray yet. I mean, they'll force me eventually, but
It's the same here. Same
yeah.
here.
But I'm not fucking doing the thing I did when I went over from video and just rebought everything. Like all the VHSs I had, I rebought on DVD. I'm not doing that shit again.
Personally. I still have a ton of VHS. Yeah. There's some stuff I rebought over the DVD. You know, it's like my favorite stuff, but I didn't rebuy everything on DVD.
I saved like my cool VHSs. Like I had an original copy of Make Them Die Slowly in like the big box. Like I saved those kind of things, but the majority of it I just fucking sold on eBay. Made pretty decent money off it too.
And then plus, like a lot of the stuff that I had on VHS was like it took forever to come out on DVD too.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
There's like that always sucks.
There's a lot of good companies out there putting out cool old stuff now though, like Unearthed Films and Shout has like that subsidiary Scream Factory, and they've just been putting shit out like left and right of like old stuff you couldn't get anywhere.
That's pretty badass.
They still make VHS players?
I still have mine. I don't know if they
actually. It's funny that you bring that up.
They still make the combo one with the DVD VHS combo?
Mine's totally fucked. I've definitely got to get a new one. So, like, and, like I said, I've got at least a couple hundred VHS still, if not more. You know, I think at one, maybe even like 300, 400. I don't know. I've got a lot of VHS still.
Why don't you use it and open up your mom and pop store?
No, yeah, totally, man. It would be like location and stuff, and who knows if it would work. But I mean, I don't know. I've talked to people that actually miss the act of going to a video store.
Yeah, so. I miss it big time. I really like very frequently. That's how I started my weekend, like growing up.
Totally, man. Just the act of going to a video store, you know. And I don't know. I mean, I'd be biased, of course. My video store would have like an insane selection of horror.
Yeah.
You know. So
because we all want to see Silent Night, Deadly Night 5, Deliver Us from Evil.
Exactly. So,
well, guys, big thing that happened is, have you guys forgotten?
No, I never forget, man.
You never forgot?
Never.
Well,
wait, what are we talking about?
Have you forgotten, Matt?
I don't. What are you talking about, man?
Dude,
never forget.
Forget what?
9/11.
What's that?
Well, you're not supposed to forget. We're every September 11th, we're reminded to never forget.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I'll keep that in mind.
Like, so, I mean, what's your take on 9/11 this year? And first off, before we say anything else, there's a good joke I heard. What's the difference between 9/11 and a cow?
What?
You don't milk a cow for 14 years.
Insert drum track.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, that's undoubtedly gonna piss some people off. But I mean, everything we do, somebody gets pissed off. So, but
I have a unique perspective.
You know, like I posted. I actually posted a picture on PRL the other day, like a meme, and it was basically like it said 9/11, the 24/7 excuse for taking away all your rights, or something like that.
Yeah.
And you know, like a bunch of people were like, well, not a bunch of people, but I mean, there's a fair amount of people. The picture got a really large reach, and people were saying, oh, well, not today, you shouldn't joke. Or some people were saying like, but is it really a joke? I mean, it's like our rights have been taken away ever since 9/11. You know, using 9/11 as the reason that we have to take away people's rights. You know,
things you wouldn't have even thought 10 years earlier that
it's
people
not
could get away with. Yeah,
that's not funny to me. You know,
no.
And so some people are commenting it's a joke. Some people are like, I see your point, but not today.
It's not appropriate.
And it's like, well, when is the best day to fucking talk about it? When is the best day to get a rise of people and get their attention? You know?
No, it's perfect.
Because the whole day, it just a status propaganda to to constantly codify the sheeple into, well, this is why we have to get groped at the airport, kids, because 9/11. It's just like the excuse for everything of loss of liberties.
Yeah, dude, I saw Kevin Smith. Are you guys Kevin Smith fans?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm fucking huge Kevin Smith fan, man. I love fucking.
Do you like Red State?
Red State? I mean, I thought it was decent.
I really, really liked it, but I like Michael Parks a lot too, so that makes a big fucking difference.
I mean, I got no complaints about it, but I'm for me, Kevin Smith is like the Jay and Silent Bob movies.
That's cool.
You know, and Jersey Girl. Or maybe not Jersey Girl.
Fuck Jersey Girl.
But Jersey Girl, I mean, is even decent. Whatever. But yeah, it's I'm excited about Clerks 2. But anyways, like Kevin Smith apparently tweeted or posted on Facebook like thanking the TSA for keeping him safe.
Well, that's very kind
And
of
it's
him.
like, wow, dude, what rock are you living under? The TSA have notoriously caught 0 terrorists.
Yeah.
Was it
Well,
a
at the same
joke? Was he
time, there have
maybe
been
being
over 400
sarcastic?
cases of theft. No, he was serious.
Was he? Oh wow.
It's just like, whoa, that's really disappointing, Kevin. So then I go to click on the comments and make a comment, and
Yeah.
I made one too, and I was just like, talking about the case of the theft and shit. But I saw like, the most liked comment, like, somebody said something pointing out like the TSA are jokes and they haven't caught any terrorists and blah blah blah, and it was liked by like over 100 people or something. And
Yeah.
that was like the main comment. So that was pretty cool. How like there is this. It seems like there's a good level of disappointment with the TSA. Disappointment
with
that
an
we-
entity that never should have existed to begin with.
Yeah, totally, man.
I had to fly. I didn't have to. I enjoyed doing it, but I flew with my grandmother a couple years before she died, and at this point she was close to 90 in a wheelchair, and she happened to be the random person who got picked out of every like fucking 20 goddamn people that were in line. So they take her in her wheelchair, and then they try to make her stand up so they can
Jesus.
pat her down. And I'm standing there and just watching them, and she's like, I can't get up. I'm like, she can't fucking get up. And they're telling me, sir, you need to back off. I'm like, I'm her fucking, like, I'm her escort. I need to be here. She can't stand up. And then like 2 more TSA guys came over, and they actually tried to pick her up out of the chair. I was like, you fucking cunts, man. And then they started getting shitty with me, and it was just a fucking nightmare,
The vast majority of them are the most. Like, I mean, most of them are probably illiterate. It's like a massive jobs program of like the people that could probably not find a job in the private sector.
Yeah.
And they're fucking morons. And it's basically, I mean, anybody who has any intelligence, you can look at this and be like, look, this is just bullshit to basically make people feel as though we're safe and secure. Because I mean, they're the most unprofessional.
Yeah.
Like just.
Do they give them guns?
I hope not.
I've never actually noticed. I've been too busy being annoyed like a motherfucker with just how they're like barking orders at everybody.
I know they get rubber gloves.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I still have one of them inside of me.
But yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, when is there appropriate time to other than on 9/11 to basically post any outrage about what has transpired since that day? And anybody who would think otherwise, it's like, if you're not going to get upset about it, what day?
Yeah.
I mean, it's perfectly appropriate.
I saw another meme going around. It was on 9/11, and it was I'm gonna kind of fuck this up a little bit, but it was a picture of the Twin Towers, and the one when it was getting smashed into, and the other one was on fire. Hey, that's it. Hey, bring that up.
Okay.
Fuck.
Yeah, so
fuck it.
we're watching.
Yeah.
So.
Basically, it was like saying something like, the quote unquote, the terrorists did this because they hate our freedom. And then the next picture down was a picture of basically just a line of fucking like riot police. And it said they won.
Yeah.
That.
Right. I mean, it's just, it's, what has transpired since then. And I posted, it was pretty interesting. Like Hunter S. Thompson posted literally the day after what's going to transpire. And it was pretty amazing. Like how basically came forward with
Number one fan.
Yeah, like he basically nailed it. He's just like, we're going to be a long drawn out war for who knows how long against an enemy. We're going to lose our civil liberties. I mean, he basically nailed it, and I, thinking back to that day, I was like, here we go. Like, we're going to, it's just one of those events that I just knew. And I think a lot of libertarians knew, like, that this is not going to go away. Like, there's going to be a loss of civil liberties, the Patriot Act. I mean, you name it. So Matt brings up a good point. What day is appropriate? Anybody that would complain about that, like, oh, this isn't a day to do that. Well,
I'm sure that person who said that was spending all day quietly reflecting on it too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're probably, watching the reality TV or whatever, not even, just mindless sheep. But yeah, Matt, you got anything on anything else you want to add on the topic of 9/11?
Yeah, definitely. There was a article that I read on the Freethought project, and this was for me. It was kind of it really like recapped a lot of emotions that I've had about 9/11. You know, ever since it happened, and it was a beautiful article. Let me get to it. Okay, so this one was entitled 5 Hard Facts Americans Forgot About 9/11 After Being Reminded Every Year to Never Forget.
Yeah.
And,
I read this one too, yeah.
Yeah, these are hard facts too. These are, none of these are conspiracy theories. These are just fucking facts. And first one is
the third building went down.
Yeah,
7 went down.
Yeah, the fact that building 7 went down, collapsed, and it was a small blip in the media. Since 9/11, World Trade Center Tower 7 is rarely, if all, mentioned in the mainstream media. And then, actually, when that tower went down, 23 minutes before it went down, the BBC announced that it had already went down. So, 23 minutes before they announced that it already went down. So, that leads a lot of people to believe that, they're being fed this information before it happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of people have said that building looked like controlled demolition, and it was hit by no planes. And, another thing about that building was it was a few months before there was a extremely large insurance policy taken out on that building. So, coincidence, maybe. But, there are some, there's definitely some suspicion around that. Okay, so fact number 2 is... Okay, actually, the BBC, CNN, Fox, and NBC reported the collapse of World Trade Center 7 before it happened.
Yeah, I remember that one clip. Yeah, literally, you could see it in the background. You could still see the building standing, and they were like, they were already reporting that it collapsed. So yeah,
okay.
I remember that.
And fact number 3, the 9/11 Commission report was railroaded. Not only were the commissioners given extremely limited funds to conduct their investigation, but they were also met with dead ends in almost every direction. Like only $15 million was given to investigate 9/11, compared to the $60 million that was spent on investigating Bill Clinton's blowjob. $60 million to investigate.
Jesus Christ Almighty.
I mean. Okay, so like I would not call myself a conspiracy theorist I just wouldn't call myself one.
I'm too cynical to be one.
Well, I think conspiracy theorists are cynical. Like a lot of people say conspiracy theorists, that is being cynical. It's being cynical of the official story.
No, I get that, but people will fucking twist every little bit of information they can get their hand on, or take information at face value when it's not even true. That'll support their point of view on something. And I'm not talking about someone who believes in certain things, but there's some people out there who believe any old fucking thing someone tells them.
No, you're absolutely right, dude. But and I think the shame of it all is because there's some people that do that. And they make up some like crazy ass fucking shit that's obviously false.
Yeah.
Then there's a lot of people who just aren't going to hear any sort of it.
Yeah.
Because of those people. They aren't going to question any of it because of those people. And I think that there's plenty to question. The 9/11 Commission report, even by people in the government refer to it as the 9/11 omission report. That's how it's known. It's even like right now, Rand Paul is trying to declassify. I think it's like 28 pages of information.
Yeah.
It's. I think it's a pretty big deal. And it's almost like the state welcomes these conspiracy theories they totally do, by not giving us the information. And so let's go down the list. Okay, fact number 4. Staying on the topic of the 9/11 Commission, in 2004, President George Bush and VP Dick Cheney told the commission that they would not be formally charged, or they would not be formally interviewed in relation to the attacks on September 11th. On April 27th, 2004, the White House released a statement saying that there would be no recording transcription of the interview. The duo demanded to be interviewed together against the wishes of the commissioners. So these guys were interviewed together. Now,
this is Bush and Cheney.
Yeah, Bush and Cheney were interviewed together. Now, I mean, it's like, I don't know. Why would they want to be interviewed together?
Keep your story straight.
Exactly. You know,
exactly.
no other criminal, you know, gets the luxury of being interviewed with his accomplice.
Yeah.
Or his or her accomplice to keep their story straight. You always interview them separate. You know, how is it that this happened? You know, it's just a little suspicious once again. And, you know, once again, these are all facts. These are not conspiracy theories. These are just the facts, folks. Okay, fact number 5. After the myriad of holes began to form in the official narrative, several dedicated engineers and architects took their own investigation. Today, there are over 2,300 architects and engineers who have signed on to the initiative, all declaring the official story to be false. So that's, you know, 2,300 architects and engineers who don't believe the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, Tower 7 is definitely, I mean, the fact that the mainstream media
it's pretty damning.
Yeah, I mean, that alone is just, and what happened at, you know,
it's never brought up. It's never questioned. And it's the biggest thing, you know. And, you know, there's all sorts of crazy conspiracy theories surrounding 9/11, no doubt, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, all I'm saying here is, you know, and all I've ever said is I doubt the official story. You know,
yeah.
I don't claim to know what happened. I'm not in the fucking know. And, you know, there's a lot of crazy shit out there. But, you know, these are all facts. These are all, you know, these are all very suspicious facts.
Have you ever watched like documentaries like Alex Jones, like the Loose Change documentaries at all?
I think it was a yawner. I think I put it on for like a half an hour.
I mean, they came out. They're like the first one and the second and third, and as more information came out, they added to it. But I remember when I was working full time, I was still in the Air Force. I was working part time, and I would always talk to this guy and this one coworker I worked with, and I said, hey, just check out this documentary, watch it, see what you think. And he basically was just like, Alex, like, this is. I mean, some of the theories in the, I mean, it's an Alex Jones documentary, but he said basically, even if like 10% or even 5% of that documentary is true, we're fucked. Like this is, like just like you said, like, and they bring up like exactly those 5 topics that you just brought up, Matt. And it's just like, and it's not even brought up in the media. And if you question that, you're labeled as a conspiracy theorist, or if you're just a critical thinker.
Well, it is easy to dismiss people with that label.
Right.
So, I mean, these are all facts that people like don't want to talk about, don't want to acknowledge. The information's out there, and you don't have to look at it. Everybody's got a friend who's posting some shit, But I mean, this article I thought was really beautiful because they just stuck with the facts, And I mean, that was the beautiful thing. They didn't go off on any sort of here's why. I mean, this is fucked. This is real. So. I feel like I feel like a lot of people don't want to question because it's like, their perception, like their reality is shattered by this perception.
Yeah.
Or by these occurrences.
Yeah, it's easier just to go along and just
go along to get along. It's seriously, it's just like the fucking Matrix, dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty much. So Pat, you had you can discuss
Jeff Mzanzi. For anybody who doesn't know who Jeff Mzanzi is, he seems to be the kind of like the poster boy for victims of the drug war that you see a lot. I've seen his story on Reason a couple times and read it in the magazine a couple times, and I've seen it mentioned on Freethought Project and a couple other places. But Jeff Mzanzi was arrested in 1996. And damn it, I don't remember where he was arrested, but for a third drug offense. The first drug offense was selling a small amount of pot to a relative. The second one was for possessing less than 3 ounces in his home. And the third was for the one that got him thrown in jail for good, was for driving a friend to a motel to buy pot from an undercover officer. So 3 very minor, non-violent drug offenses, and he was given life in jail.
3 strikes, you're out.
Naturally.
Was that part
It was
of that?
one of those 3 strikes, you're out. Yeah.
you know,
And he was finally released today. Or no, I'm sorry, it wasn't today. He was finally released this past week after 21 years in prison. That law has since been changed to whatever state it was, the 3-strike law. And it wasn't just a 3-strike law. It was a 3-strike and then mandatory sentencing. Like a judge didn't, if you were the judge in that case,
it's like mandatory.
you didn't have a choice. It was mandatory life in prison, which is one of the most fucked things I've heard in a long time. But
Totally, man. For a drug that is, I don't know if you even want to call it a drug. It's like
no, I don't
plant,
call it a drug at all. Yeah,
it's a plant. It's a fucking weed. It's if you want to arrest somebody, slap the cuffs on God. I mean,
yeah,
it's
that fucking asshole leaving that weed everywhere for us to enjoy.
Oh man.
God damn it.
So yeah, man, it's crazy too, and I don't know, man. I'm sure like all of us here, man. Like I know that the drug war is something that I've been like bitching, complaining, and it's upsetted me for a long time.
It ties so much into so much of what most people consider wrong and immoral. And I mean, you can't escape it in so many different aspects of our lives, in crime, in police interaction, in education, in the media. You pick something and it's tied in there, and always in a hideous negative way.
Yeah.
So it's important. I mean, people hear you rail on the drug war and they're like, oh, you must take drugs. you must want drugs to be legal because you like to take drugs. As if that's morally wrong. So fucking what if you like to, but people like to be on their high horse and, oh, you like that. That's what this is about. And they don't look at any of the blowback.
I mean, like
from the war on
for me,
drugs.
for years, like I don't even talk about pot. I just talk about like fucking heroin. And it's like, I've never done heroin. I don't want to see you do heroin.
Yeah.
And I know people that have died from heroin. Heroin is the fucking devil. The only thing worse than heroin is drug prohibition.
Yeah.
Is heroin prohibition. You've only had more heroin usage since the drug war. You're only going to get more violence because of the drug war. You're only going to get jacked up prices because of the drug war. You're only going to have more civilian casualties because of the drug war. You're
going to have more bad drugs out there, and I don't mean I'm talking about bad in quality. Yeah. Poorly made drugs that are going to poison people.
Exactly. Most overdoses, or actually all the overdoses as far as I know, it's the most dangerous thing about heroin is the cutting agents.
Yeah. So yeah. Jeff Mzanzi, good on you.
Yeah, finally out after 21 years. It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
And there's still we have 77% of those incarcerated right now are in there for nonviolent drug crimes.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of the cost.
I mean, it's a big fucking issue
to lock someone up for 21 years.
Yeah,
like the cost of the taxpayer.
Conservatives would care about that,
right?
Conservatives should care about the cost, right?
Right.
Technically, you should.
It's not working, so I mean, conservatives should care about that too. Everybody should care about that. It's not working.
Yeah.
It's Black Lives Matter doesn't mention the drug war. Why should they care about it? It's like most of the assaults are coming from the drug war.
Yeah.
Most of the the police brutality is a direct result of the drug war.
I mean, you've created a very profitable black market by having these things illegal to begin with, and whenever there's a black market, there's a high cost of violence.
And even if you are a cop, it's why would you want to enforce these laws? Because as people are waking up to it, and people are waking up to it because there's just more talk about it now.
Yeah.
When I first got into it, I guess like 15 years ago, talking about it, like you bring it up and you're like, I remember just like blowing people's minds. It's nowadays it's just like more and more people are coming around to that train of thought.
You can make a really good flow chart for that. Maybe I'll make one for punk rock libertarians.
Yeah, well,
Stick
dude,
it up there.
it's really
Make a
it's
graphic.
a libertarian
Yeah.
moment that we're having, you know. And it kind of sucks that I don't know, who knows if we'll get the credit for it or not. But I mean, we fucking should. So, because I mean, I don't know. I think that this
Alex
issue
touched
was
me, man.
Championed no harder by anybody.
Dude,
than
Alex just touched me.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Tell him to stop.
Alexis.
Sorry. Do you want to call? Should we call the authorities and have
You should call the authorities. It's
call
right to do
police?
that.
Just like so. Moving on more with the police state. This middle school kid in Allentown, PA for.
Yeah. I thought we were going to talk about those other kids. Okay, yeah. Do you want to talk about it?
Well, I mean, you just kind of touched on this kid. So apparently, he's 14 years old, middle school. And it's happened
It was Allentown. It was in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, the video was posted. Was it posted on the site, Matt?
It's definitely on. I'm pretty sure it's on punk rock. Yeah, it's on. Yeah, it's on. Yeah, I saw it on the Facebook. So yeah, I know it's there.
So he basically was stopped
For jaywalking.
Yeah, right.
Him and a couple of his friends.
Right.
It was one of his friends that were filming this actually, so it's not hearsay.
And then he was cuffed, right? And because he couldn't, he's 14, middle school.
He was 14 years old, and was threatened by the police officer that he would be arrested if he didn't tell the police officer his name, which in Allentown, Pennsylvania, you are not required to do legally. The police can stop you. The police can question you, but you do not have to give your identification to the police. That's part of their law. And he obviously knew that or just had an attitude. It doesn't matter one way or the other why it happened. He didn't give his name, and the police officer arrested a 14-year-old for that. So you're instilling the fear of police in a very young age. They need to understand that they're property.
Yeah, man. It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
It's every fucking week.
Yeah, I mean, it's just pathetic. So how, like, as a young person, would you have any respect for the law after you're 14? I mean, if you're being treated
maybe
like
that's
that,
then maybe that's a good thing.
I mean, I guess it's a good
solution.
thing, but but no, it's like most statists or police officers are like, you got to respect the law. But case in point, last night. So last night I drive part time for Uber. So I got a request for a ride. At Power Plant Live. Well, it's a drunk fest. And so I pull up, put my flashers on. The cars can clearly get by me. And so I'm like calling the individual that I was picking up because I just wanted to make sure I was in the right. So they saw where I was. And I'm across the street from 7-Eleven at this roundabout. There's two Baltimore City police officers sitting, and I saw them. But I wasn't blocking traffic. Any car could go around me. I had my four-ways on, flashers on. And he kept shining his LED flashlight bright as fuck in my through the side window. So I look over and I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm trying to contact my passenger.
Yeah.
And he kept flashing his light, and so I look over, roll down the window, and I just told him, he's like, move your car. And I said, I'm picking up someone, officer, and he said, I don't give a shit, just move. Just like with an attitude.
Brilliant.
And I'm like, what if I was having car troubles? I have my flashers on, I'm not blocking any traffic. But how do you expect to get any respect from, civilians, if you're treating individuals like that?
Yeah.
So I just was like, you know what? All right. I was like, yeah, tough guy with the flashlight. So I just, and he kind of bullied up, and I pulled up ahead. But, it's just these cops, and they're out of control. Like, you just give them an inch and they take a mile. It's crazy. But, yeah, so, and then more on the police state. This is out of Pikesville, Maryland, just about, stone's throw from here. Yeah. Tell us about this, Matt. You seem to be familiar with this story.
Okay, so a 14-year-old boy kissed a 13-year-old boy kissed a 14-year-old girl on a dare, and assault charges are being filed against him. He
was also arrested for it. It's not just assault charges, but he was arrested.
So how did this come about? Was it the parents or school?
Yeah,
or
apparently the school called the cops, and I mean, really, it's like every day, you're seeing police being called and fucking all hell breaking loose. People are dying over stupid ass shit. Do you really need to call the cops for this?
And instead of the teachers,
this wouldn't happen when I was in school.
No, hell no.
No.
It's crazy how times, and you look back and it's like, I was 15, 20 years ago. It's like how much it's shifted, like how it's just in our face all the time,
and how vague or how hard it is to even see the line anymore between what's acceptable and what's not.
Right.
You know.
And then you have a lot of people like, oh well, that's appropriate. The police should come. Really?
Are you
like
fucking insane?
When do adults, responsible adults, handle a situation?
It's what's acceptable and what's not. I don't think is the issue as much. Like, I mean, it's not acceptable to kiss somebody who doesn't want to be kissed, but it's what warrants calling the pigs. I think that's
and please keep their ages in mind too. I mean, I can't think of a single person who would want to be held responsible for everything they did when they were 13 years old, because you do dumb shit because you're a kid. That's part of being a kid, making those bad decisions and things like that.
I was playing with fire like every fucking day when I was 13 years old. Yeah.
I wasn't doing it every single day, but quite frequently.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you're dumb when you're a kid and you don't know any better, and all arresting a kid and charging a kid's going to do is make them cynical and make them angry and make them distrustful, which they should be with the way things are. So thank you.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. So what was this Zach Hammond story in South Carolina?
Oh, we talked about that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So tell us about it, Patrick.
I'd be happy to. Thank you. Zach Hammond was, I'm not sure, I think this has been about 6 weeks now, 19-year-old boy who was sitting in a car with his girlfriend while one of their friends was trying to score some pot from what turned out to be an undercover police officer. And cops rushed the car. And their story is that Zach Hammond, the one behind the wheel, was trying to run down the police officers in his car, so they were forced to shoot him. This is the guy that witnesses say later they saw the cops high-fiving his body.
Yeah.
There was that kid. It was that kid. And so there's more coming out on it now. And apparently, with the autopsy and everything, he was actually shot from behind. He was shot 9 times from behind through the window of the car.
Yeah, which is funny because the cop said that he was trying to run him over.
Yeah. So I'm not really sure how that played out. Other witnesses say that the car wasn't even on.
Yeah.
And then the girlfriend who was in the car, sitting right there while he was being shot to death, right next to her, gave her statement. Like, there's an official statement from her that specifically said two police officers came running up from behind, screaming something, or we're going to blow your head off, and then just empty their guns into him.
Wow.
Jesus.
It's fucking insane. Oh, for, what was that, a little bit of weed?
Yeah. Oh, war on drugs.
Yeah.
War on drugs.
Yeah. But, yeah. Not one person ever has ever died from smoking too much marijuana. Not one person ever. But how many people have died from marijuana prohibition?
Quite a few.
So
I can think of one.
How could you not admit that marijuana prohibition is more dangerous than marijuana?
Yeah.
It's fucking insane. It's fucking crazy. It's like it still blows my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't know. Is there any other? It seems like every other day these occurrences are happening. I don't know if anything trying to think of some other stories that cropped up this week, but
yeah, man,
as far as the police state, but
well, there's also I discovered a dude this week on YouTube. His name's Sean Thomas, and this dude is fucking awesome. First video I saw, he's walking down the street and the cop's like, "What's in the bag?" And he's like, "None of your fucking business. That's what's in the bag." And he's like, and the cop's like, "Okay," and turns away. He just sees that this guy. It's like the cop knew that this guy knew that this cop has no right to ask. This guy's not going to answer, and the cop's just like, "Fuck this," and walks away.
It was in New York City, so that's where I think recently the mayor there just ended the stop and frisk, but for years they had stop and frisk where police could just go up randomly violate your Fourth Amendment.
Yeah, whereas
unlawful search and seizure,
As long as you're lower than middle class and black.
I mean, like
right.
you know,
exactly.
like cops can definitely ask you what's in your bag. I mean, they can you can ask somebody anything, but you know, you don't have to tell them, and they saw right away this guy wasn't going to tell them. This guy wasn't about to put up with their shit.
Yeah, and he's fucking yelling too. He looks real crazy
right away.
Yeah.
And when they're walking away, he's like,
what do you say? He's like, none of your fucking business. Honor your oath, scumbag.
Yeah, that was the scumbags. That was my favorite part. Yeah,
that's it. It's a 7-second video.
Yeah.
You know? And then the other one I saw, same dude, right? This video was like fucking like 8 minutes long. You can find both of these on punkrocklibertarians.com. Like the other video was you know, this guy is being chased by a cop down the street, and the cop sees him drinking a beverage out of a you know, it's got a paper bag around it, right? So the cop's assuming that it's alcohol. So I think I'm guessing the deal is with this guy. I think he just like walks out and like tries to look like he's doing something. So cops are like, he wants to like record this shit, and he's getting these viral fucking videos. So like, you know, he puts this like fucking soda in this bag, and this cop's like harassing him to give him his ID, and the guy's like, fuck you. And then the cop's holding him there, and the guy's like, yeah, I charge like $10,000 an hour, $5,000 an hour, 10-hour minimum. And the cop's like, that's illegal. I can arrest you for that. And he's like, then charge me with it, motherfucker. You know, and everything this cop says, he's just calling him a fucker or a fucking piece of shit. And he's like, and he asked the cop, he's like, what's your oath? And the cop's like, to protect and serve. And he's like, no, asshole, the Constitution, to protect and defend the Constitution, that's your oath, you know? And yeah, dude, it's just fucking crazy. So then, you know, eventually they end up actually like frisking the guy, but before they do that, they're even like the guy's like, I'm not saying that that there is alcohol in the bag, but I'm not saying there isn't either. You know, he's just totally
he's just doing everything he can.
Yeah. And you know, the whole thing is on video, and you know, the bottom line is, you know, it's like cop apologists are gonna say, well, this dude is an asshole. It's so what? It's nothing is illegal. You can walk down the street, and if they don't see if they don't see alcohol, they have no reason to search you. They do not know what's in this bag.
Yeah.
That bag could be fucking Kool-Aid. You know, they had no reason to search this guy. They had no right to search this guy.
And it was a soda, and then they were forced to let him go after wasting probably about an hour and a half of their time.
Yeah, and then a copologist will say, well, he should have just showed him the soda. It's like, why? It's none of their fucking business. You know,
I think you just came up with a word earlier. It's like
apologist.
Besides, it's a dumb fucking law to begin with.
Of course.
So what if it's alcohol? So what if it's alcohol?
At least I'm not fucking driving.
Person?
How am I supposed to get home?
Right.
Does that make you a bad person?
Yeah.
Walking down the fucking street. Like, so what if it's alcohol? You know? Yeah, so Sean Thomas, he's my new hero. He's fucking awesome.
So, yeah, I was check out those videos. They're both up, right?
Yeah, they're both up. There's articles on.
I didn't realize it was the same guy in both of those, because on the one you can actually see him doing it. He's wearing a GoPro on the other one the whole time. So, but that's great. I didn't realize it was the same guy.
Yeah, he's fucking badass.
So, what have you done for Liberty this week, guys?
Who's that?
Besides the podcast. I mean, that's definitely
prepare for the podcast.
Our hours in preparation for this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I work on the website every night, so
there you go, man.
There's that
checked off on the Liberty checklist. Now, I stumbled across this. I guess it was the other day. I was organizing my bookshelf, and I remember my friend sent this to me. It was from the Foundation for Economic Education, or fee.org, but it might have been on the Daily Paul a couple years ago, and I printed it out. But basically, it's a list, a daily Liberty checklist, and you know what? I'll check out the link. Maybe it's still up, and you know, maybe we could put it up on the website. But it's basically like a daily checklist. Like, what did you do for Liberty today? You know, something maybe, I don't know, do like a daily affirmation, or you know, just put it by like your door as you go out for your day. But
when you say your prayers at night, you can kind of tack that on the end,
right? So just some things we could all do, you know, to spread the message and just basically open up other people's minds.
Let's take this test.
Yeah, so we could run down the list. So it's basically a checklist, you know. So I raised it in a conversation and hopefully turned on a light in at least one person's mind. So, you know, hopefully people listen to the podcast, you know.
I think we've done something for Liberty today.
Oh, yeah. So definitely, I think we could check
We
that
could
off.
stop now if we wanted to.
Yeah, we're done. We're done with the list. But, I mean, I don't have to go down the whole list. But, I mean, basically just, you know, I defended it when it was challenged by error. Okay, so, you know, you can, on Facebook, it's presidential election time. You know, there's plenty of opportunities to challenge other, you know, statist thought, you know, with comments. I mean, Matt, you bring that up pretty often. You know, it's prime time now to, you know, bring up libertarian philosophies and ideals.
Yeah, I mean, it's people are really the most receptive to talking about politics during this season.
Yeah.
You know? So I thought it's pretty funny because this one dude who moderates Shred the State Libertarian Metalheads, this guy Dave Brouhaha, that's what the name he goes by on Facebook. But
Brouhaha.
he like, I was looking for a moderator for that page, and a couple guys volunteered. But he was telling me that his mom shared like one of our photos or articles or something earlier this week. And this guy's definitely in his 30s, so, you know, his mom's probably at least in her 50s. So it's like, wow, you know, the message is definitely being spread. Like, I've had people tell me that our Facebook page got their parents into libertarianism.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I mean, that's fucking pretty badass. You know, shit's spreading, shit's going viral.
Yeah, so now it's definitely you know, prime time, you know, on your Facebook and friends to educate others. Another one, like, I don't know, not many people like read the newspaper, like traditional newspapers, but, you know, write a letter to a editor in Liberty's defense. Another thing, talk radio. You know, you can always call in. I mean, nobody really listens. I mean, AM talk radio is still out there, and I'm guilty. I listen to it every now and then. I've call in actively on a couple shows. I don't do it so much lately.
Dude,
but
I should start doing that. What would be a good show for me to call in?
Yeah,
oh
really.
man,
Like something like daytime.
Oh man, easily. I mean, the local Baltimore typical conservative station, 680.
Yeah, Talk 680.
Oh, 680. Oh my god, man, it's just like it's like Tom Marr is the biggest neocon. He's on from like 9 till 12. He's like,
does he let libertarians on the air?
Oh, he knows me. Like, I haven't called in a while. Like, he straight up calls me. Alex calls in, and he's quite the conspiracy theorist. He's a libertarian, folks. He's not.
Alex got the docs.
Yeah,
touching on the top.
Yeah. But like, I already have a reputation. I haven't called in a while, but you know, that's something you could do. Like calling in AM stations, especially so I mean, because they're desperate. You know, not many people call in, so you know, you could easily do that. You know, especially
I would totally do that on my day off. Just like listen to that shit while I'm like working on the website or playing, video games or something.
Yeah, it's great. Like, especially because, you know, when they're talking about topics like right in our wheelhouse, like you can call in and just like break down status logic. Because it's just.
I mean, I'm a big fan of hitting the right from the right. You know, pointing out how the drug war isn't very conservative. It costs us a whole bunch of fucking money.
Right.
You know, and if you're about like defending freedom, you know,
right,
you're engaging more people than all those countries that you claim to be are not free.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, we're the free country. Yeah. So, you know, hit the right from the right, I say. You know, make them feel like pussies for not being as conservative as you on those issues. For, you know, not taking your hardcore conservative stance, you know. While at the same time, you know, we're conversely hardcore liberal on other issues.
So, yeah, I mean, there's some other ones here. Like, did I recommend a good article? I mean, obviously, we do that on a weekly basis. You know, just recommending an article or a film or something. Like, hey, you should check this out. Like, reaching people in other directions. Sometimes, you know, you can reach people like, hey, check out this movie, you know, and it might lead someone, you know, to libertarianism. You never know. Maybe sending a check, you know, to an organization, you know, that you're trying to advance the ideals. Yeah, there's so many organizations out there. Free State Project being one. You name it. Quite a few that are advancing the cause of liberty. Let's see, like another one. Like, did I resist temptation to subvert liberty by accepting something from government that didn't belong to me? You know, like
I like the way that one was worded.
yeah.
I did
Something
not
that doesn't
resist
belong-
temptation.
I must admit, I'm a little blazed. So.
Right? No, but it's
Like,
true. I mean, you know,
I don't. Yeah, that doesn't really happen to me. As I can't think that happens to me very often.
no,
Where government offers me something that's not mine.
Right, but I mean,
Yeah, I can't think of anything ever.
well, I don't know, like accepting unemployment. I mean, you pay into it, but it's at the same token, it's kind of like
I've never filed for unemployment.
I didn't. I never. I
For
did.
whatever short
not.
period of time. I think since I was since I've graduated high school, there might have been like, you know, maybe like 2 months, 3 tops when I didn't have a job.
Yeah.
So
I guess that would be like,
and I didn't file for unemployment.
I guess like any time you would accept like any government, like just government handouts.
Well, I mean, at the same time, like I mean, well, what do you have to say about like if for some reason you did lose your job, why not file for unemployment if you're paying for it all these years and they're stealing all this money from you? I mean, what is morally?
You can
wrong
at
with
least
trying
treat.
to
You
get
can at
some of
least
that
treat it
back?
like it was an investment.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, you can at least get some of it back. Like, what is wrong with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, it's kind of funny because
Walter Block would argue that.
right? I mean, within libertarian circles, some are like, oh, if you don't take anything from the government whatsoever. But then there's also the other chance that it's like, oh,
Yeah,
let's
I
all
mean-
get on the government dole just to collapse the system quicker. I mean, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's two trains of thought. I don't know about necessarily like getting on the government dole, but I mean,
Like, what if we all just quit our jobs tomorrow?
Well, yeah, unemployment's a
know.
lot
What if we
different though
just,
than like
like-
long-term welfare, though. I mean, that's
yeah, I
You
mean,
know.
I think so too. And like I said, if so much money is how much money has been taken from you, and I've been in the workforce now for, I don't know, I guess like fucking 17 years, you know,
Yeah.
since I've been 18. And, you know, I paid a lot of money out in taxes, and I haven't got shit. You know,
Yeah.
what's wrong with recouping a little bit of that extortion? You know?
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. Me neither.
And outside of the normal problem that I think that the whole system's fucked to begin with. Don't get me wrong, but working with, if you have to work within the system, I don't have a problem with that whatsoever.
Yeah. I don't know. Especially, I don't know. Like, what if you move to a state like New Hampshire, like a free state? Would you have a different view of that or not? I'm just curious.
Wait,
I'm
what do you mean
starting
by a
out there.
free state?
Like, are you familiar with the Free State Project?
No.
Okay, so yeah, this is like really fucking cool. There's in New Hampshire, I think for the past like what do you think, like 15, 16 years? Or
Like
has it been more?
2003.
Okay.
Well, I don't know when like Porky, but I think it was.
Yeah,
like
this is,
2000.
Oh, is this where Pork Fest is?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
So the Free State Project, they're trying to collect what is it, 20,000 signatures?
Originally started out as 10,000.
Yeah, and
Like,
then
people
they-
committing, and now it's like so many people have committed to it.
Yeah, I think they bumped it up to they're trying to get like 20, and I think maybe they're at like what is it, 16 or something now, or
Yeah, I think so.
What
I
do they
don't
need
know.
the signatures for?
but these signatures pledges to move to New Hampshire. You know, I think it's after they obtain the said number of signatures, people have pledged to move. I believe within like 10 years after that. So, and I don't know. It's for me. If it's actually, I've been to New Hampshire. First time I was on tour in 2004, and this is before like I knew anything about the Free State Project.
Yeah.
And it was my favorite place to go on tour. It was just like, I mean, I just genuinely liked the people there, and I liked the area. It was just such a beautiful state, and I went there in the dead of winter too, and like a cold bus with no insulation. You know, not a bus, a cold van with like no insulation, a ice box on wheels, and that was like my favorite state. And then I've been to PorkFest 3 times now, and each year it's been a awesome experience, and it's a different experience every year, I think too. I was talking to like my buddy Tim Davis about this the other day, and both of us agree it's like a different experience every year. I guess as far as like the people you meet, you see a lot of the same faces, and you meet a lot of new people, and it's like, you know, who knows where it's going to take you.
Cool.
And so, you know, PorkFest, you're camping out for as much as a week. Some people just go for like the weekend, and there's everybody there from like old people to hippies to punk rockers to, you know, just any type of group of people. I mean, there was like there's some Muslims there, you know, there's just any group of people like there's there, you know,
just individuals,
basically.
like
Yeah.
a whole, just such a wide swath of like individuals.
And everybody is kind of so anxious to talk to everybody else. Like you find yourself introducing yourself to just anybody who's in front of you. You know, I'm Matt. I'm from Baltimore. You know, oh cool, you're from fucking Australia. You know,
That's cool.
It's like I met somebody from Australia there a couple of years ago. So I mean, people from not only all over the country but the world. I mean, there'll be people that fly in from like California that have wanted to go there for years. You know, and I mean, you'll you know, I remember my first year there, first night there, it was 5 o'clock in the morning, and I was having a discussion with this dude who's lived in New Hampshire for like 10 years now.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'm going to die here. I love it, you know. And, you know, the difference between like New Hampshire and Baltimore, it's like the skies are just like blue as a motherfucker. You know,
Yeah, it's gorgeous up there. Like
Yeah,
you
it
breathe
is.
in the air, and it's just like, wow, this is
yeah, there's
actually breathe.
This is
Yeah.
not what I'm used to.
rural. The property is like much cheaper up there. Yeah, I mean, you can, you know, you could you can move into a palace for under $200,000. You know, you could like really nice place. And then in the summertime, it's like I feel like it's during the day, during the hottest point of the day, you could almost break a sweat if you were walking out all day. But I think this year it wasn't even like that hot. Like it was, and at night, you're probably gonna want to wear a jacket. But I mean, so I mean, I think the weather
the tip.
there's pretty. Yeah.
Like, now with the weather,
It's become
New Hampshire weather,
the traveling
Matt Bergman.
podcast.
I can't say enough good things about the place, obviously. You know, and I would definitely recommend the Porkfest experience.
It's every June.
Yep.
Porcupine Freedom Festival, usually like the last week in June. So that's like the perfect time to go up in New England. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, and I know for myself personally, if the opportunity arises to where, you know, I could go up there, you know, I'd have to be like financially ready for it, prepared for it, you know, I would definitely take it. You know, it's like for me, I mean, it just seems really awesome. You're around a bunch of activists and people that think like you. And the idea behind the Free State Project is, like, they took a bunch of states that were already, like, more free than the other states.
Yeah.
And everybody picked their favorite. Everybody voted on their favorite. And New Hampshire won. So, and then also one of the criteria is, you know, not a large population. So if you get 20,000 people there, you know, and not just 20,000 regular people, 20,000 activists, 20,000 people that believe in liberty enough that, you know, they're going to go out and talk about it, you know? So, I mean, you can create a positive change. Like, Free Staters have been elected to local offices there. You know, Free Staters are known there. These ideas are known. And, you know, it's just, it's a pretty rad idea to go there and make it more free, you know, basically make a libertarian paradise
Yeah.
in New Hampshire, which is already a pretty free state. You know, you've got live free or die on the fucking license plate. So,
Yeah, and every Pork Fest, they always do like a update on what's going on in the state and just how they're advancing liberty. And you can see why they picked New Hampshire, because, I mean, the state of Maryland, like, you just look at the numbers. And I think we got about maybe 7 million people in the state of Maryland, give or take, about 7.5 million. They were only represented by like 142 state delegates and senators. Like, New Hampshire has a population slightly less than 1 million. Yet they're represented by like over, I think there's like almost 480 some state reps and senators. So it's like it's a lot harder for bullshit to pass up there.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot harder, and you're. Like, it seems like, wouldn't you say, like, everybody up there is just so much more engaged and more, like, civil-oriented? Like, they just know what's going on. They care about their communities. They care about what's going on. It's just, like, they're engaged up there more.
well, I mean, I went there in 2004, and I don't remember discussing politics with anybody. But chances are I probably did because I was like, I've always been into this stuff. But I mean, it might just not come up when you're playing a show and you're getting drunk and blazed. So, but I mean, and then my other instances up there, I'm at fucking Porkfest, so I'm surrounded by libertarians. So I don't know how like your average New Hampshire person is not going to be as liberty-minded as a Free State activist. But the Free Staters are invading. You've got Free Talk Live. Which is, hands down the most popular libertarian radio show. I believe they're like syndicated on like hundreds of different stations around the world, and they are broadcasting out of there. So I mean, that's something right there. You've got the Keene Activist Center, and I mean, you've got the Robin Hooders. These guys go around and they put change in the parking meters before the meter maids can give them a ticket.
Yeah.
And those guys are legendary. They've been doing that shit for years, like same people, like day in and day out. And then you've also got a lot of like marijuana activists. You've got smoke-ins in like City Hall, where a bunch of people smoke and cops can't arrest everybody. It'll back up the system for months, So I mean, it's really cool to be around like that many people. It's like, what can I do? Well, you can move here, and you can move with a lot of people. You can move around a lot of people that actually want to see the same changes in the world as you. And there's strength in numbers, and you can essentially make more of a difference. It's a pretty beautiful idea. It's one of those ideas that like somebody might think about for years and like, hey, why don't we do this? And then somebody's doing it now. So it's really cool. There's different ways to look at it too. Like if all the libertarians moved to New Hampshire, the rest of the country would be pretty fucking shitty. But I guess it already is. So we.
Well, they have a really nice electoral college in. Oh no, wait, they don't. Never mind.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So. That's about it for this week. I'd like to remind everybody that we've got this website up. So, if you have ideas that you want to share, you can submit your ideas to our website, and we might post it. We might not. Now, honestly, as long as you're not trolling us, and we'll proofread your stuff. And, we want to make a podium for people to, kind of get ideas out there. So this is what we're about. We're a community, and submit an idea, submit an article to the website, Definitely want to encourage that, as always. Until next time, you're free. And I believe that we have the power, I hate the state, and I know we can make the break the power, break the power. Statism but break the blood that is shed, drenching the flags of the tax bombs in red. Wasn't by a few at the expense of the many, so to the gods and the death machine. You can't justify killing by economic gain. For God, country, and democracy, you can put freedom at gunpoint in a foreign land. You support the troops, then bring them home. I believe that you will do the best for you. And I believe that we have the power, I hate the state, and I know I'm a slave. We can make the break the power, break the power. Society owes individuals nothing more than non-interference with natural rights. Once a virtuous person fully comprehends the non-aggression principle, the violence of the state becomes obsolete.